In the more than 2 years since Russia invaded Ukraine, the United States has provided approximately $75 billion in aid. But some in Congress and others in the policy world say it is time to reconsider this strategy. They question whether an ongoing financial commitment to Ukraine is sustainable and whether Ukraine can actually win the war. Furthermore, they say that continued financial support could have perilous geopolitical consequences. Those on the other side say that funds directed to support the war are a necessary investment in democracy, and that a Russian victory would encourage Putin to invade other neighbors. Against this background, and in partnership with the Council on Foreign Relations, we debate the following. Should Congress stop funding the war in Ukraine? This is open to debate. I'm John Donvan. We're in partnership with the Council on Foreign Relations for this one, recording this debate at the Council's New York headquarters to take on the very question that Congress is due to take up shortly, the U.S. commitment to Ukraine and its war with Russia. Since the war broke out in 2022, we have examined the conflict multiple times, beginning when there was generally a broad consensus that America would and should stand with Ukraine and spend money to do so. Now, literally years on, that consensus is proving itself more debatable than ever, and that's our focus for this debate, where the question we're asking is, should Congress stop funding the war in Ukraine? So let's get to it. Let's welcome our debaters to the stage. First, Ambassador Paula Dobriansky. President of the German Marshall Fund, Heather Conley. Professor John Mearsheimer. Lieutenant Colonel retired Daniel L. Davis. So let's get into our opening statements. Each debater will have 4 minutes to tell us why they're answering yes or no in answer to our question. And first up, we have political scientist and international relations expert John Mearsheimer. John is a professor at the University of Chicago, where he's been teaching since 1982. John, this is the 5th time you have debated with us. So that's high up in our program. There are very few who have done that number with us, so we appreciate it. And your answer to the question, should Congress stop funding the war in Ukraine, is yes. Please tell us why.
Thank you, John. Proponents of continued support to Ukraine usually make 2 arguments. The first and more ambitious argument is that if we give Ukraine support down the road, Ukraine will be able not only to stymie the Russian offensive, but they will be able to recapture territory that they have lost. The second, less ambitious alternative argument is that if we give continued aid to the Ukrainians, they will not be able to take back territory that they lost, but they will be able to hang on to the territory that they now control. And the end result is that will put them in a strong bargaining position in future negotiations with the Russians. Danny and I believe that both of these arguments are fundamentally wrong, that the Ukrainians are doomed. They're going to lose. Option 1 and option 2 are both going to fail. And the principal reason is because of the military balance of power between the 2 sides. The fact is that the Russians now have a decisive advantage over the Ukrainians. And as time goes by, that advantage is going to increase, not decrease. There's nothing the West can do to rectify that balance.